Yeah, it's got, you know, you're sticking better. You're pulling off more weight on it. Just driving it down the groove.
Justin of Post Times Pub. So Bar Wars is how we'll open up tonight's program for you. Best darn food you'll find at any race facility anywhere, a bottomless beer well, lucky program numbers, Gary's Towing, the Calvary. Even saw the first lady of Raven Racing, Linda Manus, a little while ago. Perhaps, maybe, with a little bit of luck, we can slow her down a little later on this evening and get her on the mic and do a little catching up with her. Bill Harless, that's his 62 machine, and Richard Dominic will be the driver of that one. Justin Ireland from the Post Time Pub will be in John Van Horn's red #1 racer, which is coming here. Pennington's machine, the number 15, has got Scott Busey at the wheel. Leslie Langer supposedly is in the 98 car there, and we get a wave from her, or maybe she's just flirting with George Camp. I don't know what kind of racing lessons they give you over at Malibu. She's probably flirting with George Camp, though. That's her in the 98 car of Rapid Ron Bishop. Being passed up there right now by Scott Busey. In the number 15 car, Scott representing the Wooden Bucket Bar. John Williams will be at the wheel of the 77 machine for JW Lounge. So I wonder what these guys will do to the groove, to the cushion. The black ice. I haven't seen 25. Is the 25 machine out there? We've lost the 25 machine. Oh. Well, I hope they refined it very shortly. So we've got 5 Bar Wars machines. Wonder who's going to be scratched here. Looks like Scott Busey is a part of it tonight. Richard Dominic, Justin Ireland, Leslie Langer, and John Williams. And these guys, having found their feel for the track, will be the first thing to roll off for you tonight. Says that man right there, Dave Manus. We'll do our welcoming ceremony, take care of the national anthem, and then these guys open up tonight's program. I say guys, obviously meaning guys and gals. Leslie, certainly one of the guys. And good luck to you, dear, in that 98 Ron Bishop machine. Pennington's car was not all that swellaciously treated the last time it was used out here. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of use and or abuse they take tonight. Particularly, I'm going to be interested in the 98 machine of Leslie Langer, since we now know instead of $1,500 lessons, driving lessons in California, it was a $15 ticket at Malibu that's got her ready to go. Marion Smiley helping out with regard to the setup and running of this particular Bar Wars event for you tonight, making sure all of our drivers are properly attired in their safety suits and proper frame of mind and all set to go. They do kick it off tonight. Mini stocks, USAC midgets and winged super modifieds, all coming your way here this evening. Now we call your attention front and center, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the man who's made it all possible in 1987, make him feel warm and welcome at his own his own place. Here he is, Dave Maness.
Hello, everybody. We're running a little bit late, but we got good weather, and it's going to be a heck of a racetrack, so bear with us. I think you're going to see the best open wheel race that we've seen all year out here on this track, the way it's sticking, right, Jack?
Well, it is. Yes, it sure is.
You move your feet and you lose your shoes. Anyways, we got a little collection thing we're going to do. Some of the drivers here and different individuals have volunteered for the Casas Dello Ninos. Right? Got that right. Okay. We got Dave Culp from Phoenix, Arizona. We got Donnie Sink. We got John Van Horn. Where's John at? Right here. Runs the Charger. We got Ron Bishop, Jerry Coons Jr., Bob Luck Sr. here, and Ronnie Widwell are going to come up in the stands where they got their helmets and hats. Got a little loose change or whatever. Drop it in there, Jack. You got anything to say?
Yeah, I do. I sure do. You know, folks, Dave Maness has not charged one kid to enter this race facility this year. And we do love kids. He loves kids. I love kids. So just pull out a buck or some change, and we'll give it to Casas de los Ninos. If you ever have a problem with your family, an injury or death or what, they'll take you in. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, why don't you guys go ahead and come on up. They're going to go ahead and come on up right now, and they'll just kind of move around. Jack's going to tell you what this Bar Wars race is about, and then we'll get right on with the program here.
All right, we do have the Bar War race tonight. And on the pole position from the Post Time Pub is Justin Ireland. On the outside of the front row in the car number 98 from Cove Road Lounge, Leslie Langer. On the inside of the second row, the car number 62 from the Music Box Lounge, Richard Dominic. On the outside of the second row, the car number 77 from JW Lounge, John Williams. And bringing up the rear in the car number 15 from the Wooden Bucket, Scott Bussey. There you have it, folks. This is Bar Wars.
Bar Wars. Jack Jacobs put this deal together. He's had more fun going to the bars than agitating these people. So they've done a lot of things for Raven Raceway, too. We've had some parties down there on Wednesday evenings and stuff, and they've done went out of their way quite a bit. For those of you who wasn't here last week, I don't know how many of you was, the Vicki Lynn Memorial, great success. We raised $4,500 for We the People, which is for all the kids in Tucson as well as Arizona. So we're all real proud of that. Let you know that. One major announcement to make. Stock car people or any of his fans there, we got a champion right here in Tucson. Carl Trimmer has won the Sun Belt Series National Championship. And boy, I'm real proud of it. I'll tell you why, because there's 7 racetracks involved in this deal from here to Florida and Texas, and there was 480 drivers that was in this series. Carl Trimmer won it by 80 points after last week's race, picks up a check for $10,000. Winston Company is coming in here tomorrow. They sent video team in here. They're going to do some filming out here for a national film, but it's real neat. It's the first time ever any driver in the state of Arizona, including open wheel, sprint cars, or anything, has taken a $10,000 check for a season point championship. So right here at Raven Raceway, we did it, and you did too. So thank you a whole bunch. You ready? I'm ready. Let's all stand up, take our hats off. Let this lady do our national anthem, Carol.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Boy, don't she do that good? All you people down here from Phoenix, Arizona, we love you. Welcome to Raven Raceway. We hope you keep coming back. We think we got the best racetrack in the state of Arizona and the best run one, so I really appreciate you being here.
So as George Camp mounts the starter stand, we commence with tonight's program, the racing portion, beginning with these five here who are Bar Wars. Bob McKinley giving them the nod, telling them to go ahead, roll them forth, and let's get off and running. With these guys, mini stocks, USAC midgets, and winged super modifieds all coming your way tonight. And a racing inaugural season that's got a few weeks left in it. About 7 more, as a matter of fact, right up to and including the 13th of November, when we'll wrap it all up. It having begun back on the 4th of April, and what a run it's been. So Leslie Langer leads the field out with the Ron Bishop number 98 machine, followed by John Williams. Scott Bussey in that 15 car, the 62 machine, has got Richard Dominic in it. And the number 1, piloted by Justin Ireland of Ireland's Post Time Pub. We're still waiting on him to get off and into the fray here. Being used as something of a centerpiece so far. But Gary's towing will fix that very shortly. Larry Miles and company from 96 Rock is in our midst tonight. We get Larry back up here a little later on. We'll chat with him about the night he went chasing him around in our radio personality celebrity race. These same NASCAR Chargers used then. Some of them literally the same machines used in that one. Had a couple of those so far. Tonight it's a Bar Wars presentation. Our radio and TV types will be back out here along with Jack and the other Jack, Jack Murphy from the Fair Commission. Taking their turns in NASCAR Chargers along about the 10th of October, which is right around the corner. Laughing boy, you did good tonight. just getting these guys and gals out here and ready to go racing. A 6-lapper. For our initial Bar Wars race. Who knows what all this will build into in the course of the rest of this season or ensuing seasons down the road. But I see the Chargers possibly paving the way to get a lot of use and abuse out here for a whole host and variety of newcomers to the sport of motor racing. And that's so much a part of what it's all about, the camaraderie that develops right from the get-go, from the guys who are already in with regard to open arms and open minds about helping the newcomers get afloat and off and running in it. A most interesting bunch, to say the least. See Dave flashing a finger sign up to George Camp. I guess he feels like one more at this slower yellow pace is not going to hurt things a bit. So Richard Dominic of the Music Box Lounge behind the wheel of 62 there leads the way around for them. That's the Culp Road Lounge lady Leslie Langer in 98. 77 is JW Lounge's John Williams. The 15 machine is Wooden Bucket's Scott Bussey. And there you have them again. Six wondrous laps of Bar Wars. We're about to pop the cap. Well, George has got the green flag ready. I gotta tell you, with Bob McKinley at his side. What do you think? Does that look like a group that's ready to go racing? Well, let's just see. No grass growing under the feet of Richard Dominic. I had a feeling that he was going to jump off in the lead representing the Music Box Lounge in Sweet Bill Harless's 62 machine, and that's exactly what's happened. But JW Lounge with John Williams at the wheel, putting on a good early move. Leslie Langer and Scott Bussey bringing up the rear in this one. So Richard continues to kick it around in the lead, though not by much, on John Williams. And now Williams skirts past him on the outside going into turn 2 and into the lead out of turn 2 down the back chute. So that'll give Dominic now a come-from-behind opportunity to get back into the lead he himself once held. Scott Bussey, the Wooden Bucket guy in that 15 Pennington Charger, bringing her through 4 now. And Leslie Langer of the Culp Road Lounge in Ron Bishop's machine is being threatened in a lapping situation now. So your first lapping happens with some fairly tight quarters up there in turn 1. John Williams, the JW Lounge car, in the lead and padding to his lead on that gal right there, Richard Dominic. Scott Bussey and Leslie Langer. Time running out in this one, I presume. White flag lap. John Williams, 1 to go. And if he can keep his nose clean and hold that car together, well, you know the rest of that one. The checkered flag is out for John Williams. JW Lounge waltzing off with your initial Bar Wars. Raven Raceway's answer to the Star Wars syndrome. And there you have it. A little later on tonight, our Charger owner-operators, the O&Os of NASCAR Chargers, will bring these same machines out here, and they'll put on their own little show for you. Ditto the mini stocks, Wing Super Modifieds, and USAC Midgets. So congratulations to John Williams, our initial Bar Wars winner. Leslie, we'll see what we can do for a couple of passes back to Malibu. And I mean the one in California this time. She had me so convinced. She had gone to Ontario and got her lessons. Careful there, Jack, or you'll wind up with a jerk at the end of that thing. Doing it in the mud, front and center, and waiting to do his own one-on-one victory lane with your winner tonight, Jack Jacobs.
As you can tell, Tom, he lost his brakes at the end of the race.
I thought it was his nerve.
Let's give him a good hand, folks, from J.W. Lowndes. First in Fort Low, John Williams.
Thank you. Really enjoyed it. A lot of fun.
Good job, John. Here you go with the Bar Wars trophy. It's all yours, buddy. Okay. Getting set up for our first heat in the USAC Midgets.
Marion Smiley is driving that car down there right now. He helped out trying to just make sure everybody knew how to put their belts on and stuff. So, anyways, we're ready to go.
And you can be ready to go with regard to lucky program numbers if you scoff up one of our few remaining programs right now. And Tucsonan Ernie Payne piloting the 77 USAC Midget. Green flag is in flagman starter George Camp's hand. He's got his eye on him, and here we go. Off and running at Raven Raceway on a Saturday night, and Cactus Jack Yaley plants it. Doug Nelson off at the outside front row has got himself in early second positioning here. A lot of traffic in the rest of that pack, though, and fishtailing up through turn 2, but all of them coming out of it unscathed and clean, with Yaley having built up that much of an early lead right there on Doug Nelson. As they continue the chase just like the lap that preceded it. But Cactus Jack looking real good right now in that blue number 1 racer as he brings it out of 4 and down by the home stands. And look at that little 3-car race rapidly developing for second place in this chase. Tight quarters between that trio, too, as they charge out of 1 and into 2. But they're still doing it nice and clean and giving good chase to Cactus Jack Yaley with a lot of ground to make up. Doug Nelson piloting that number 40 machine. Looks like Dave Burns running along third, some seesawing right now as they come out of turn 2 for that, and a nice dual pass back there into turn 3. And a lot of slipping and sliding going on still in the early on of this one as they continue to try to set that groove in. give themselves a nice surface on which to have some positive, good steering. Lap 5 coming up for Cactus Jack in the lead. And now a 2-car race for second place. David Burns in the 73 machine has battled up to second place, and coming from dead last to begin this one tonight, Ernie Payne in 77 is now running third behind that guy right there, Cactus Jack Yaley in the blue number 1 machine. Coming up on the white flag lap. White flag is ready to be flown by Camp George to Cactus Jack Yaley, just a lap away from putting this one away. If everything continues to go well for him, and there's no reason to doubt that it shall, Dave Burns, Ernie Payne, and Doug Nelson to round out your top 4 in this one.
Well, looks like Cactus Jack is going to win it, Tom.
He's got the checkered all to himself, and he didn't mince words or waste much time, did he?
Glad to be back up here with you.
Have you back, Jack.
Cactus Jack Yaley in that car number 1 AZ from Phoenix, Arizona wins it. David Burns in car number 73 from Casa Grande comes in second position. Ernie Payne from La Jolla, Arizona. No, they call him La Jolla. He's from Arizona, Tucson to be exact. In 77 comes in third place. Doug Nelson in that USAC Midget number 40 winds up in fourth. So there you have it, our first heat for the USAC Midgets and Cactus Jack Yaley.
And we've still got Chargers one more time and mini stocks too.
8 laps in this event as Gary Hinton in 71, your pole sitter, leads him down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Round 3 they come. George Camp looks at them. Here they come out of turn number 4, and we're on the green.
Off and running once again here at Raven Raceway, and Gary Hinton takes it off the inside pole and jump starts his way into the early lead here by turn 1. The flying fireman is what they call Ron Gary, who's behind the wheel of that number 14 machine. And you saw why right there in the initial lap with Don Regals moving 37 up and into second place behind the Hinton machine, number 71, Billy Hicks, who has 92 right now in third position, heading into and out of turn 3.
Ooh.
And oh my goodness, it looked a lot closer than what it really was. I'm sure Don Regals, though, assumes the lead in that 37 machine, and Billy Hicks looks like he's wanting to make some moves on that second position in this one.
Regals just made a real good move at turn number 4. Now he's got the lead by about 10 car lengths.
Looking real good right now with your earlier leader, Gary Hinton, sitting in second place. Billy Hicks right behind him in 92. And then the flying fireman, Ron Gary, number 14. That's your top 4. Lap 4 unfolding, and they come out of turn 4. Your leaders in this one, your first heat race this evening for the Wings Super Modifieds, with Ronnie Widwell slowing down and heading into the pit fields, Jack.
Ronnie looks like he has some engine problems. We'll have to give you a report just a little bit later if he'll be back out here for any of the main events.
Lap number 5 now for Don Regals and company. And the first of the company to come, Gary Hinton, Billy Hicks, Ron Gary, and David Ball to take you through the top 5. So we got a couple of Tucsonans there in that top handful, Jack. But Don Regals right now, the one they got to catch. Billy Hicks giving it a good effort in 92. Has pulled into second place in this one. Ron Gary running third right now. White flag flies for Don Regals in the 37 machine with that much of a lead right there on Billy Hicks and Ron Gary giving chase. But if everything holds up for Regals, and it looks like it well might, then the L&L Body Shop people are going to have a little something to celebrate right off the bat here this evening. They've got it wrapped up in Winged Super Modifieds heat number 1.
So Don Regals in number 37 wins this first heat for the Winged Super Modified. Billy Hicks winds up in second place. Ron Gary in 14 making a good charge in third position. Gary Hinton in 71 fell back all the way back to fourth place with David Ball, John Vesey, and Troy Brown. So Regal's jumped out in front, took advantage over there in turn number 4, overtook Hicks and the rest of them.
23 and single. Started it all in a go-kart. Progressively worked his way fourth. And one of the red hot USAC midget men in the country right now. Robbie Flock sitting on the outside of Glenn Smith. Mark Passarelli and Mike Williams are row 2. Ted Lee and Jerry Coons Jr. are the third row. Dave Culp and Billy Schumann in fourth. And Brooks and Hansen rounding out the field. The Flock machine is being driven tonight by Wally Pankratz out of California. Flock's machine with a new man at the wheel. Well, new to us. His first trip over to Raven here in '87. Interesting to see what he can do in the Flock Flyer tonight.
Guess the reason for the yellow, Tom, was they're waiting on a couple more cars that didn't make the field, but I think they're going to go green without them this time.
Well, George has got the green flag ready to fly. Let's see if he do.
Oh, and we are going green as Glenn Smith lays him down the front straightaway. Glenn falling back in the second right now.
Awful lot of traffic and some fishtailing going on galore that kind of raises an eyebrow as you watch him initially. Mike Brooks awfully slowed down getting out of here, but he does so safely into the pit fields as Wally Pankratz puts it in the lead out of Industry, California. That lead car is Robbie Flock machine, the red 95 on yellow. He's flying real well right now with Dave Culp in the 90 midget, giving chase, trying to close things up. Mark Passarelli and Mike Williams also trying to do likewise. Ted Lee and Jerry Coons Jr. Here we come again out of turn 4. Past the start finish with that much of a lead now built up on the Culp machine, and the yellow flies for the first time in actual racing here this evening. Two laps in the book on this one. When George has to reach for the yellow. And that, Bud, is not for you. Mike Brooks, number 11 machine. With a bit of a jam. The rest of them go single file. Dave Maness continues to not only be an owner-operator here tonight, but a traffic cop as well.
Okay, the last 3 cars should be 94, 66, and 48.
Well, the officials are switching them all around right now. That's what the holdup is once we get this car off. Trying to switch the 94 and the 48 car, and then we'll be okay, as Tony Barrow exclaims.
Okay, now 48.
Wally Pankratz in that 95 machine looks real good out on Robbie Flock's vehicle there tonight, Tom. Dave Culp in 90, holding on to second place. This will bunch him up with this yellow flag out.
So it's interesting to see when we crank up again what the strategy of those lead 2 are. Pankratz and Culp, and we'll find out right here because we've got green again, Jack, how they stack in turn 1.
Boy, look at him slide around and kick up the mud at turn number 1. Whew. They are really pouring it on.
Dave and I decided we're going to rename that down there. We're going to build a mound down there and call it Flack Hill. As it comes in like flack. And there goes the flock machine with Wally Pankratz at the wheel and having it all his own way. But Jerry Coons Jr. says, well, let me move 12A into position number 2 and see if I can't slice away at him. Dave Culp had not been able to get the job done. So Culp drops back into 3rd place. Pankratz with that much of a lead on his next 2 closest competitors, Coons and Culp. Yellow flag comes out once again.
Why do we got the yellow?
Four laps down.
Looks like we've got some debris on the racetrack, Tom, just before turn number 1. And that is what brought out the yellow. So we'll be 4 laps down once we continue this 8-lap heat race. Well, let's see what happens now. George Camp looks at him, tells him one more time around. We'll get this one completed yet. Track was awful tacky when I was out there tonight, Tom. And a lot of these racers like it that way.
I've always preferred a tacky track. What do you mean?
I'm not gonna be your straight man.
We've got Racing Green again, and Pankratz will try to stave off Jerry Coons Jr. and Dave Culp and Mike Williams. Let's see if he's able to continue to get the job done. Lap number 5 about to fly as they come out of 3 and 4 into lap number 5 of 8 with Wally Pankratz still in the lead. Coons and Culp and company giving chase. The rut, the groove, the black ice continues to develop.
That it does, and the groove looks like it's right down the center of the racetrack, down the front straightaway, as Pankratz brings it in close to the berm about the center between turn number 1 and 2. But he's got company. Coons is right on his tail, Tom. But time's running out.
Sure is. In fact, just as we should have gone to white flag lap, we have gone to yellow flag lap because of a breakdown in the 48 machine coming out of turn 2 there, Billy Schumann.
So Billy looks like he'll be out of this one. Let's see if George is going to give him the green this time. I doubt it very much.
John Zerby of Prescott at the wheel of the Schumann boat tonight. Getting late word on some of these replacements, so we'll forewarn you and let you know that as soon as we know, we'll pass it along so we all can be in the know. Appreciate your assistance regarding that. Wally Pankratz in the flock boat and in the lead as we've got green once again, and here they come out of turn 4, the 5 who remain here. With Coons and Culp still the pair giving the best chase right now to Wally Pankratz in the lead in the flock machine number 95. White flag now for him as they come around into lap number 7 of 8. So no change at the top, although it's close enough. Wouldn't want to call for sure, but unless something goes haywire, it'll be Pankratz in Flock's machine over from California tonight, running off with this one.
And it is Pankratz and that number 95 machine. Jerry Coons Jr. in 12A winds up in 2nd place, and Dave Culp in that number 90 machine holds on to 3rd with Mike Williams in 94, all unofficially in 4th place for this 2nd heat race for the USAC Midget Division. Coons had a chance, but he just could not catch up to that number 95 machine.
Wagner and Hummer. Here they come. And that camp they named George has got the green flag ready to lower the boom and get us off and running for a 4th time. We'll make it a 5th time. Mustn't overlook the bar wars, folks. Dingus in 21. Off the pole and into the lead by turn number 1. Rick Hummer trying to put a couple of machines behind him in the very early on, coming up from dead last. Let's chart his progress, Jack, and see how he's able to close on Tom Dingus there in 21 at the top with Donnie Sink running in 2nd place in number 5. J.D. Vance in 33 has it in 3rd place as they come out of turn 2 down the back chute and into 3, playing catch up on your leader, Tom Dingus in 21. Tom's got her cooking real good, but Sink and Vance are right behind him, and Tommy Signs of Tucson rounding out your top 4. They continue to make their way around and chew away at this, your 4th heat race of the evening. 2nd for these guys. It's still Dingus and Sink running 1-2. JD trying to close in on that 33 machine on Sink, but unable to get it done. In fact, he's lost a little ground in this last lap as the lead cars now come up on a little bit slower traffic. That in the form of Steve Wagner, the 35T machine.
Got a battle going on for 2nd place right now between Don Sink and J.D. Vance. They're hanging in there, though, behind Dingus, trying to catch up to him. They've got a ways to go yet. Dingus looking real good out there, Tom.
That he is. Wagner still making his way around, and Rick Hummer trying to pick things up and close things up as Tommy Signs takes a premature hike in 4T off the track and into the pit field. Donnie Sink, his strongest Tucson counterpart, runs 2nd. J.D. Vance in 33 has it in 3rd place right now. Rick Hummer trying to close things up in that 17 machine as the white flag flies for Tom Dingus, Sink, Vance, and Carl Guerin Jr. Your top 4 in the white flag lap, and here they come around to take the checkered flag. Tom Dingus all the way in this one in that 21 machine takes the checkered flag with Donnie Sink and J.D. Vance running 2 and 3.
Well, Tom Dingus and number 21 had it from the beginning. It was all his race, just about the whole race, the whole 8 laps. Don Sink could not catch him, nor could J.D. Vance in 33 machine. Carl Guerin in number 29 wound up in 4th place, and Rick Hummer in 17A in 5th place. All unofficially, there you have it, folks, the 2nd heat race for the Wing Super Modifieds. And boy, can these guys really pour it on. Winner in car number 45, your pole sitter for this 3rd heat for the USAC Midgets, an 8-lap event, brings him down the back straightaway, and Hank side by side with Donnie Byer in that car number 23. George Camp, your flag man, and Bob McKinley eyeball him as they head into turn number 3 and around 4. Here they come. The green flag flies as Hank Winter in 45 brings him down the front straightaway. Off and running they go into turn number 1 and 2 and down the back chute. Separating just a little bit as they come around 3 and 4. Here they come down the front straightaway. Looks like Donnie Byer in car number 23 taking an early lead on the first lap, Tom. Car number 26, Jerry Rice, the gal driver, winds up in 2nd position after that first couple of race laps. Boy, these numbers, even the officials could not read that Donnie Byer's 23 on there. I thought it was an 83 or 88. But there's your leader right there, car number 23, Donnie Byer, with Jerry Rice trying to catch him.
They're still kicking up a nice little rooster tail behind those machines, especially when they get out of the grooved area and up into the softer stuff, the tackier stuff. And no greater area to watch it coming in like artillery than up there in turn one with Hank Winter of Tucson in the 45 machine up and into third place now in this one. We've had a lot of racing green so far here tonight. Thankful for it and hope that stays with us across the rest of this one tonight. Donnie Byer opening up his lead. He's got almost a quarter of a lap now on Jerry Rice. Pumping along there in that 26 machine, hoping and stroking and trying to close things up. But time's running out. Rick Johnson is out of here in the number 15 machine, down from Phoenix tonight, experiencing some sort of a problem, and in right now the pit fields looking for some quick lift assist. The white flag is about to fly for Donnie Byer from Las Cruces, New Mexico, in that 23 racing machine. And what a good looking one it is, too. He's got this one all stashed away, I do believe, on Jerry Rice, running second in number 26, Hank Winter in 45, and John Hibner in the 5A machine. Let's see if that's how they fly at the checkered flag. Sure enough for Byer. Jerry Rice takes second. Hank Winter, can he hang on and take it? No, 5A of John Hibner winds up unofficially in third place.
Looks like Hank Winter's car is on fire underneath, so the fire truck chases him into the pits in that car number 45, so a little bit of tough luck for Hank Winter. Donnie Byer in the car number 23 wins it with Jerry Rice in 26, winding up in second place. As you see, Hank Winter fell back, so that'll put John Hibner in position number 3. That row number 3 in 184. Steve Reeves in 93, Pat Bush in 130, and Dan Davis bringing up the field in car number 136.
Now, Jesse Brown started out this season in a NASCAR Charger.
That's right, he did, didn't he?
He's the pilot of that number 1 machine off the pole, and he's lost it already by turn 1.
Oh, we got a quick green that time, Tom. George Camp, our flagman, even fooled me as Chuck Campbell jumped right out in front of Jesse Brown.
But one to keep an eye on down later in the field there, running along in 6th place right now as we get a little wobbly up there in turn 3, is the 142 of one Matt Dillon, who drove like a Marshall his first time out here several weeks back. At any rate, he wrapped it all up. Chuck Campbell has fallen from the lead that he held in the initial lap. Once again, Jesse Brown takes over. Brown's not been in the lead, but he did come into this one off of the pole position tonight. So Brown and Campbell running 1-2. Dick Pinnell Jr. and Steve Reeves round out your top 4.
Jesse Brown overtaking Campbell, taking advantage of him, but look at Richard Pinnell. He's starting to make a charge right now as he's right behind Campbell, trying to take him on the inside, but just not enough power. Hey, there he goes on the outside right now. And he's just about got him. Yes, he does. Richard Pinnell winds up in second position on that back straightaway as Campbell falls back into third. These guys almost remind me of those dwarf cars, huh? Almost. Not quite.
They'll be back on the 17th of next month, if not before. And they sneak out at pretty unusual times. So lap number 4 coming up with Jesse Brown of Tucson. Engines, etc., helping him out with that racing effort in the number 1 red racing machine. And he's in the lead right now, looking pretty good, too. Heading out of 1 into 2 down the back chute with Dick Pinnell Jr. giving chase in that 184 machine. Let's see if Dick can close things up. Chuck Campbell, who was right up there vying for the lead a little while ago, is running a rather distant third place in this one right now. And Kathy Kilm trying to close things up from down deep and late in the pack. Kathy getting a pass put on her by Pat Bush here in front of the grandstand area. Lap 6, Brown in the number 1 machine. Lap 6 for Brown, still in the lead. White flag is being prepared to be waved to your leader, Jesse Brown, the former NASCAR Charger, now doing it mini stock style.
What's going on with Matt Dillon tonight, Tom? He's not looking that well out there. Must be having some kind of engine problem or something.
Apparently,
I expected him up front.
just can't squeeze any more out of it. He certainly dominated the first time around.
That he did. I know the scorers up here like scoring these automobiles.
Maybe
nice
one of
big
his
numbers.
Maybe one of his friendly competitors came along and helped him out by planting a 1,000-pound gas tank guard underneath there, unbeknownst to him. He may be lugging more than he can handle.
Jesse Brown gets the checkered flag with Richard Pennell in that car number 184, winding up in second place. Richard could not catch Jesse Brown in number 1. Chuck Campbell in 104, Chuck from Tucson, winds up in third place. Steve Reeves in 93 winds up in fourth position. So there you have it, our first heat race for the mini stocks. Rick Johnson making it into the pits and not finishing this one. Just the way they came across is the way you can score them in your lucky number program. And get those lucky number programs, because Tom and I are going to be giving out a lot of nice prizes tonight. Dash for cash. These guys bringing their cars out. We want to thank them for loaning them to our folks over at all the bars, the Wood Bucket, Cove Road Lounge, Post Time Pub, JW's Lounge, and the Cove Road Lounge. Ron Bishop, your pole sitter, leads him down the back straightaway as Darrell Rimmer in that 05 car is on the outside. Ron kicks it up just a little bit as they head in turn number 3. Here they come off the number 4 corner. George Camp gives him the green flag as Bishop leads him down the front straightaway. Bishop in that car number 98, followed by Bob Pennington jumping into second position right now as Darrell Rimmer in that car number 05 falls back into third. Darrell on the outside of Pennington. Pennington on the inside. Side by side for second place they go as Darrell Rimmer in that 05 car goes way up against the wall. Here comes John Van Horn. Next to Pennington, they get side by side. Look out, Van Horn. They're all over the racetrack. Now it looks like John Van Horn in second position right now. Van Horn holding his own. Here comes Bill Harless in car number 62 ahead of Bob Pennington. And Bob trying to make a charge on Harless. Bob gets side by side. Now Bob jumps back into third place. Ron Bishop in 98 out in front. John Van Horn in the number 1 machine. John gets a little wide. Look out, John, as he gets into the berm, but gets it back under control down the front straightaway. Boy, that was close. The smoke is flying as John Banks scrapes up against the wall. Yellow flag is out, so this is going to bunch him up and make it a little bit more interesting. These are our regular NASCAR Charger drivers for a special invitation race tonight. These folks bringing out their cars for the Bar Wars, and we give them the opportunity to go ahead and drive a race herself. Okay, Ron Bishop in car number 98 will be your leader once we get the green flag going again. Bob Pennington and that car number 15. Let's see, where is Bob? Are they okay? They look like they're okay. So Bob Pennington in 15 is in second place right now. John Van Horn in number 1 in third. Bill Harless in that car number 62, the one Richard from the Music Box drove, will be in fourth position. Larry Artman, we've got one in front of Larry. That's the 05 car. Darrell Rimmer will be in fifth position. Larry Artman right behind Rimmer in that car number 99. John Banks in car number 49 is in fifth place. We've got a lot of programs left, folks. All kinds of programs. Listen, we've got some really nice goodies we're giving away tonight. A $15 gift certificate, a couple of dinners from the Bum Steer, a jacket from Budweiser, 5 quarts of oil, a filter from Leo's Auto, a $10 gift certificate from Joe's Auto and Machine and Supply. We've got caps. We've got coolie cups. We've got hair care kits. We've got a Reed Vac cordless hand vacuum cleaner. Boy, oh boy, we've got all kinds of stuff. The lucky number programs on sale for just $1.50. So take advantage of this just before intermission. Go on back and grab a couple of them. Good souvenirs, good interesting stories in these programs with Dave Culp from the Midgets and Billy Hicks on the front page of this week's program for Saturday, September 19th, I should say. Looks like lucky Larry Davis being pushed into the infield in that car number 77. Now, that's not Larry's normal car, but he's driving that car. That's the old number 52 car that Larry's going to be driving the rest of this season. Our point standings are now official. Bob Pennington was your winner of the NASCAR Charger points this year. The green flag comes out from George Camp and catches them all asleep as Bishop goes side by side with Pennington down the front straightaway. These guys thought the yellow was going to go one more time, but Bishop takes the lead again as Bob Pennington tries to catch up. John Van Horn in car number 1 right on Pennington's rear. Here comes Bill Harless in that 05 car in 4th and 5th position. Bishop puts the charge on down the front straightaway. Bob Pennington tries to throw out the line and reel back in Bishop. Can he do it? Just a few more laps to go as 3 of them are in the books out of 10 laps here in the NASCAR Charger division. Ron Bishop in 98 opens it up just a tad from Bob Pennington in car number 15. John Van Horn holding on to 3rd place, and Bill Harless in 62 hanging right in there. And right behind Bill, that car number 49, John Banks. And we've got a smoker out on the racetrack. The car number 05, Darrell Rimmer, really smoking up a storm as he comes down the front straightaway. Bishop, your current leader right now, Bob Pennington, hanging right in there in 2nd place. This is for the win as Bishop leads him down the front straightaway. Pennington holds on to 2nd. Van Horn desperately trying to catch up even to Pennington right now, and Van Horn right behind the rest of them. So 05 is smoking. He gets a little squirrely and up on the berm, but he gets it back out on the racetrack and falls back in the last position. Ron Bishop in 98 hanging on to 1st place. Bob Pennington really trying to catch him right now. Look out, John Banks down the front straightaway. Oh, John almost lost it into the wall, but he gets it back under control. Good job of driving, John Banks in car number 49. Ron Bishop brings him down the front straightaway. Bob Pennington in 2nd position right now. John Van Horn in that car number 1 holds on to 3rd place, and Bill Harless spreads out just a little bit in that car number 62. Let's see if Ron Bishop can hang on. Pennington starts to close it up just a little bit. Your 05 car smokes more and more each time he comes around turn number 4. Bishop, Pennington, Van Horn, Harless, and John Banks and Larry Artman. George Camp has the white flag in his hand as Bishop is going to win it if he doesn't have any mechanical problems. Ron Bishop in that car number 98. He won the last one out here, I believe. And he gets a little smoke in the eye down the front straightaway. Doesn't look like Bob Pennington's going to catch him unless he runs into that car number 05 or has a flat tire or something. Down the back straightaway, Ron Bishop goes. Looks like it's all his race. Bob Pennington isn't going to catch him. Bishop comes on the inside. Uh-oh, look out. Ron Bishop, our leader, almost loses it. 05 almost knocked him out of there. But, into the lookout on the tires, and look out for Pennington. He's all over the racetrack. So Ron Bishop wins a thrilling one. Bob Pennington in 15 winds up in 2nd position. John Van Horn in that car number 1 winds up in 3rd with Bill Harless in 62 in 4th. Larry Hartman bringing up the field, and at car number 05, Darrell Rimmer having a little bit of a problem driving that thing. That's the Chris Dobbs car. Chris usually drives that number 5. So our NASCAR Charger race, our invitational race, is all over with as Ron Bishop wins it, and Bob Pennington, our points leader, winds up in 2nd place. Good race by these guys in the NASCAR Charger division. What are we getting set up for now? Look look at that, Dave. I think you missed it. We collected $413.85 from these race fans tonight for Casas de los Niños. Thanks again. Give yourself another hand, folks. You deserve it.
Green flag for a semi-main event, USAC Midgets. And the car that is for sale continues to dominate in the early on in this one. In fact, padding on his lead, the 07 machine of Dennis Pellicote of El Paso, Texas. He's got it flying real well. And in your lead into turn 3 and 4. I don't know, maybe some closing up going on. Alan Fome in the 88 machine. Trying to dial in on that lead spot. But Pellicote continues to hold on to the lead in this one with Lat Franklin in third place. Pellicote still in the lead. Been mostly that lean, clean, and green racing color tonight. Till now, this is actually only our second interruption of racing green by the cautionary yellow.
Gaining a little bit of ground on a late start tonight, so that's good. Glad to hear that. Well, we've got one down there at turn number 2, and that is the reason the yellow flag is out right now, as Pellicote in 07 leads him on around once again. That looks like Mike Burkhart in 22AZ over there at turn number 2, and Mike having somewhat of a problem. Looks like he spun out over there, but he looks okay. We'll see if we can get him back under his own power once again as one of the push trucks head over that way. Ricky Johnson in that midget number 15. Ricky's son is 5 months old and has already been to 35 races. Can you imagine that? Wonder if this kid's going to grow up to be a race car driver. 5 months old and been to 35 races. Some people don't go to 35 races in a lifetime. So Pellicote will be your front runner right now once the green flag comes out again. We're still trying to get the racetrack cleared off at turn number 2. Mike Burkhart from Phoenix, Arizona, the Cobra Paint and Pacelay Contracting sponsored car.
Wildcats have failed to score so far in almost all of the second half, but they continue on from their 20-0 halftime lead, now leading 20-9.
At least they're leading.
On the New Mexico Lobo, and up for grabs tonight in that one, who gets to keep the Kit Carson rifle. Looks like it'll be staying right here in the old Pueblo.
George Camp puts his finger high in the air and points toward the South Star. Tells them one more time around, and we'll get this underway. Dennis Pellicote in car number 07 from El Paso, Texas. El Paso City. Alan Thome in 88 in second position right now. Down the back straightaway they go. Pellicote leads them down at a good pace, good starting pace. I think they're going to go green this time. George Camp eyeballs them, headed into turn number 3. Here they come out of 4 on the green flag. Here we go into racing again as Dennis Pellicotti and car number 07 leads them down the front straightaway into turn number 1 and 2. Side by side they go down that last turn and down the last straightaway. Now they open up just a little bit. We've got a couple of them side by side toward the rear. Closing it up. Oh, here comes Alan Thome in number 88 jumping out in front. And that car number 88 as Dennis Pellicotti falls back in the second position with Lat Franklin running a close third. Lap number 7 in this 8-lap USAC Midget semi-main event. Alan Thone, now your new leader. Dennis Pellicotti in 07 holding on to second place, trying to catch up to Alan Thone. Lat Franklin in 41. Oh, Lat goes on the inside of Pellicotti. Pellicotti goes wide, so now Lat Franklin winds up in second position. Here comes the checkered flag for Alan Thone and car number 88. Car number 41, Lat Franklin, winds up in second place as Dennis Pellicotti falls back into third with Mike Brooks from Tulsa, Oklahoma, unofficially in fourth place. Good racing by Alan Thone, taking advantage of Dennis Pellicotti and Lat Franklin's mistakes tonight. And Alan Thone wins this one from Mesa, Arizona. Let's give him a good hand, folks. Car number 88, Alan Thone.
We've been doing the last 4 or 5 weeks, and we've had a little fun with it. So anybody's got a question about the racing or what's coming up or rules or whatever, feel welcome to come up here to the front gate. We'll take you one at a time. We got some nice prizes down here to give the people. Do ask questions. So if you want to come down here and ask a question about the racetrack, feel welcome. Come right down here. Go ahead. Send one of them on down if you want. I want to tell you, next week we got the dwarf cars. We got NASCAR late models and the USAC midgets together. So that's going to be a superb show right there all by itself. And we got our first question. Name?
Sue.
Sue, what's the question?
Well, now that you've got this track running, when are we going to put a drag strip in?
No. That's surprising to hear that many people holler about that. And I'll tell you, you know, I've been questioned about that a lot lately. I've even been approached by some businessmen about doing it. There's a possibility there, but if I don't follow up on the possibility as far as my side, I will tell everybody that anybody that we need a drag strip in this town. We need it bad, and we need that type of racing as well as oval track racing. I started on the drag strip, and I cut my teeth right out there at the old drag strip on Houghton Road. I worked there as a kid and put up fences before the first race was ever run there. So I think it is very important in our community, and if it ever is approached to the county, I will support it 100%, whether I have anything to do with it or not. We got dinner from 2 from the Post Time Pub, which is Justin Ireland, who is a good sport here tonight. Oh, well, there goes my microphone cord. No biggie. Justin's from Post Time Pub, dinner for 2. Enjoy yourself down there. Justin had a little disappointment tonight. I know he didn't get to drive his race like he planned. But I'd like to tell you something about that gentleman. We did a party down there one night, and he's got these pictures of Bramer bulls he rode down there all over the walls, and we got to talking to him about it, and he raised, what was it, like $1,500 or something on donations to ride a Bramer bull down at the Sonoyta Rodeo, I believe it was. He lasted like 3.2 seconds, but that's 3.2 more than I'd have ever done it because I would have never got on one of them bulls. But anyways, Justin did a heck of a job, and he's always promoting. Name?
Tim Blodgett.
Nate, question?
I'd like to know on the rules for the mini stock. I'm looking at them because I'm going to try and run next year. It says you have to run stock cinch tires. Can you run stagger or just stock tires all the way around? You can stagger them?
Okay, I do. Yeah, I believe you can run stagger, and I think they also open the tire rule up. This is a new division. His question is on the mini stocks if they can run stagger, which means one tire is bigger than the other, and the rear makes the car handle better. We're going to be looking at those rules real close here in the next month or two, and we're going to come up with a real concrete set of rules to keep that very cheap, because right now I think that's the key to the mini stocks growing. I think we'll have probably 35, 40 cars there by the beginning of next year, and it'll be a real fun thing. Guys can build a car from $500 to $1,000 and have a lot of fun, and just like our Chargers. And we need those beginner classes as well. We do our pro classes. Hat from the Music Box Lounge. Well, how did he finish tonight? Second place. Oh, well. Can't get them all the time, can we? We got some news on the sprint car show coming up. If you guys like the wing sprinters, all right, they're running the Manzanita tonight. They have the third step in the Tri-State Oval Championships. They will be here in 2 weeks, October 10th. I really believe we will have over 30 sprint cars here. Richard Griffin, our new hometown favorite, all you guys have been hollering for. He won the one in Las Cruces. He won the one in El Paso. Maybe a little while I'll call up there and see what he's doing at Manzanita, but he's definitely won the first two mains right out of the box. Name?
Greg Detweiler.
Question?
I had a couple questions about the mini stocks. Just what the age is on that, and how much money you're looking at towards getting into that if you got your own car already.
Probably dollars and cents wise, if you already have a car, I would venture to say that you could probably get it on the racetrack for less than $300 because all it requires is a full roll cage, which is a safety feature. Everything else has to remain stock. They're not going to allow no aftermarket carburetors, headers, or anything like that. That way you have to run a totally stock motor. The other part of your question?
The age limit on that.
Age limit is 16 and over. Same as all of them. 18, you got it made. Another hat from from the music box. 50s and 60s music. Next question. Send them on down. Boy, it's nice out here tonight. How's the football game going? Anybody know yet? Somebody said U of A's winning 20-9. Name?
Shane Palmer.
Question.
Yeah, I'd like to know what kind of engines the Sprints run and who's going to be here, like Brad Dottie and all them.
Okay, what kind of engines the sprint cars run? They run dollar sign engines. They run Donovans. They run aluminum block motors. They run aluminum heads. They're very high dollar to buy a competitive sprint car motor nowadays. If you buy one complete, ready to plug in a car, you're looking at about $15,000. And as far as who's going to be here, I think we got an excellent field coming. I do know we have Randy Roberts coming from Colorado. They had entries in El Paso and Las Cruces that were out of state from Denver. They had some from Albuquerque. And I believe they had a couple more from California. In fact, Wayne Bennett, Denise Bennett's husband, ran both of them. And I believe he's at Manzanita tonight. So I think we'll have a real good field here for the sprint cars. Pang Rubber Company hat. Thank you. Next, Pete. Pete. The what? Tow trucks. Gary's towing. He runs his legs off every night out here. Get a grudge match going. Boy, these guys are getting rowdy tonight. Name?
Roger Gret.
The question.
I was wondering if you guys are ever going to have powder puff racing out here again.
No. The girls put the pants on the same ways as the boys. If they want to pick a division, they can get in there. And we already got girls running Chargers. We got girls running mini stocks. And we got girls running midgets. And there's no sense starting another division. We might do a special once in a while, but we're not going to run them all the time like what used to be done. Cooler holder for your Coca-Cola or Pepsi or whatever you drink there from ATVC Cycle, Tucson, Arizona.
Hope I can answer it. Hi, what's your name, young man?
Brian Davis.
Brian, what question do you have for us tonight?
When are you going to have the Outlaws out here?
I don't believe we're going to have the Outlaws out here this year, but we're looking at a show next year sometime. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, here's a cooler cup holder from ATV and Cycle. Thank you so much.
You want to know when the World Outlaws are going to be here? We're going to definitely try and sign them up next year. They are full the rest this year, but I will be talking to Ted Jones, and we're going to try and book a show here, maybe one early in the year and maybe one late in the year if we get a good schedule on that thing. It's real hard to book a show right now because they are so full. Name?
Yes, I'm from Louisiana, and I've been to many dirt tracks around the country, and every track I've been to, they pack the track in the opposite direction. And I wonder why here they do it the way they race.
Okay, that is a good question. From where you're, the kind of country you're from, and where I've been back there racing too, you have real clay involved. And when they pack it the opposite direction, because it has a tendency of lumping up. So when you pack it the opposite way, I know what you're saying. Then when the race cars come back out on the racetrack, they knock the humps back the other way. We don't get too many humps here because we ain't got much real clay. And this stuff packs down flat and fast. In fact, in June and July and August, the dust flies off of this, no matter how much water you put on it. This winter, we got a deal. We're coming in here. We're stripping off Nelco construction. We're going to strip off the top 16 inches of the racetrack. We got clay and sawdust already being stockpiled, and we're going to try and mix all this together and come up with a little better surface for next year, too. So we are looking at improvements. Dinner from 2 from Post Times Pub. Justin's at Craycroft on 22nd. 2 more questions. 2 more. Super Modifieds are going to run their main event first.
Dirt bikes here?
Do we race dirt bikes here? We sure do. We raced them last night right out here on this new off-road course. We had about 15 motorcycles here. We had about 20 quad racers and about 15 or 18 off-road cars. So the entry fees, I'm not sure what the entry fees are. You'd have to do that in the office. I have a separate piece of paper over there. But you have to be 12 and older to run out here. You're 14. Okay, well, then you can come run. You go up there to the press box with Jack Jacobs. He's got something for you. One more. What's your name, son?
Shane Parker.
What's the question?
What size motors are you gonna run in the late models next year?
Ooh, who sent you down here with that question? He wants to know what size motors we're going to run in late models next year. Somebody's putting him up to something here, but that's a good question. They're probably going to stay the same, the motor rules. I would like to put some rules on them that would maybe cut the cost a little bit, but right now we got a good, strong thing going with the late models and our local talent, and I want to make sure that we keep growing here for a year or two before we make some decisions that maybe will make some of them a little upset at me, but we'll have to just play it out one more year, but I think they'll be the same as next year. If you'll follow Jack up there, too, I'm sure he'll have something for you. That's all the questions for right now. We're going to bring the supers out. George, if you'll call and have the supers come out, I do want to tell you once again, Carl Trimmer won the National NASCAR Sunbelt Series. And, boy, I'm telling you, that's really something because it's the first time in Arizona that we've had the opportunity to have a national-type title given to anybody. We had 15 drivers from right here in Tucson that made the top 100 in points on that series. Each one of those guys had the opportunity to run 22 races, and they had their best 20 finishes calculated. And Carl Trimmer won it by 80 points last year. Oh, my goodness, my buddy's here, Wally Pancras from California, and this guy's done some serious racing this time. How you doing, Wally?
I'm doing fine.
What's this on your hand?
This is Hire the Handicap night.
You did that the last time you was coming down here.
Yeah, every time Terry Day calls me, I mess my hand up. My wife said next time he calls, I should just run and hide.
This is true. This is Wally Pancras from California. He's won many, many major races at Ascot and sprint cars and Madera and on asphalt and all that. But the last time Terry Day called him up and asked him to come over and run his car, what happened?
I cut my finger off in a table saw.
Real neat, huh? On a table saw the night before. And what happened this time?
I broke my hand at the Santa Maria Outlaw Show. I got upside down and managed to break it.
Wally runs a lot of the World Outlaws, and these people have never seen them yet, Wally. And, you know, this track kind of reminds me of a little bit of Santa Maria. It's a lot bigger than Santa Maria, naturally. But I'm kind of anxious to see the World Outlaws get on this racetrack. I think we'd all get shocked. What do you think?
Oh, it'd be an excellent show. This track is like Santa Maria in California, except it's wider. It's about the same length of everything, but probably twice as wide. And with the wings and those guys would just run around here flat-footed, really, probably.
Well, Richard Griffith has sure put on 2 hell of a shows out here. I'll tell you, he's just flat been on real out here at this racetrack the first 2 times we run sprint cars. And I'm looking forward to 2 weeks from now. You going to be over?
No, we have a super modified race, so I got to go back to the pavement, my regular deal. So it's the first time I've ever been here. It's really a neat racetrack, and I got to tell you, whoever put the water on the track wasn't very chintzy with it. He did a good job.
Well, usually it's the opposite. You know, they gripe about the dust blowing, but it's been cooling off here lately, so it's real neat that we do have the cool weather. Now, Ascot's kind of a unique deal. They first time I went over to Ascot, you know, the whole track would be packed real nice, and as the night would go on, the water comes out because it's so close to the ocean, and they get a berm built over at Ascot that's that high off the ground in the corners like you see up there, and when you run down there and hit it, you better know what you're doing, and I managed to do about 5 or 6 or 7 endos up there one night because I thought I was leading the race on the first lap till I hit that thing, and it just set me on a wild trip.
Yeah, when you hit the berm at Ascot, you got to be on the gas, and people say, boy, that guy's brave. Look at him lean on the gas pedal when he gets there. He's not brave. He's just trying to save his life.
Very sure. Wally, nice to have you over here from California. I appreciate you coming. The Coca-Cola kid here. You ready to go, huh? All right. We're going to bring the super modifieds out now. Get ready for their main event. Then we'll run the midget main event. Then we'll run the mini stock main event. We got your 3 main events left. So thanks for coming out. Don't forget next week, NASCAR late models, their last point race of the year, and also the USAC midgets and the dwarf cars. The following week, our big sprint car show. So we'll get the program on the way here now. Thanks for being patient. We had a good intermission and beautiful weather tonight.
Breakaway from intermission interrogatory, and if I'm reading them right, Jack, we got 3 mains all set to bring down around your ears here on a Saturday night.
That's right. We've got the super main, the midget main, and the mini stock mains. And bringing up the rear in the car number 57 in the Wing Super Modified main event, 20-lap event tonight, Wes Morey.
Next up, the 35T machine up from Sierra Vista tonight, sponsored by Herman's Paint and Body and Rod's Complete Auto of Sierra Vista, certified auto electric, also standing behind the effort of Steve Wagner at the wheel.
In the car number 24 from Tucson, sponsored by Westover Swap Meet, Lee's Home Maintenance, R&G Automotive, Flowers by Missy, Tucson On Tapes Incorporated, car number 24, Troy Brown.
The 4T machine of Tucsonans sponsors ET Automotive, Quality Plating, Tinks Lounge, and Brown Wings with Tommy Signs at the wheel.
In the car number 54, sponsored by Eastside Engine and Royal Automotive. Car number 54 from Tucson, John Vesey.
17A, number 1 Coca-Cola, Quality Plating, Allen Signs, Nogales Auto Repair, American Glass Company, Minor Auto Supply, Chris Machine Shops, behind Tucsonan, Rick Hummer.
In the car number 29, sponsored by Direct Machine, A1 Paint, Precision Engineering from Tucson, Carl Guerin Sr. They call him Hoop.
Come racing from Phoenix tonight, sponsored by David Designer Window Blinds and Avanti Advertising up at the other end of our interstate, the number 32 machine with David Ball at the wheel.
In the car number 33, sponsored by DeYoung Motorsports and Stewart Race Cars from Phoenix, Arizona, J.D. Vance.
Next up inside third row, the 14 machine of the Flying Fireman, sponsored by Ralph's Transfer and Storage here in our town, Kennedy & Sons Stucco, Brockett Electric, and Rich Bratt CPA, with the Flying Fireman Ron Gary at the wheel.
On the outside of the second row, sponsored by Ellen L. Body Shop, car number 37, Don Regals.
Next, the 21 machine, sponsored by Ad Art Sign Company, down from Phoenix tonight, Tom Dingus.
On the outside of the front row, sponsored by Brassfield Auto Parts, car number 5T, Don Sink. And Lenny's Texaco.
And coming off the pole position behind that racy red Rawlings Chrysler Plymouth pace car, sponsored by Performance Plus and Phoenix Thunder Racing, the 92 machine of Venetian Billy Hicks.
And our pace car from Rawlings Chrysler and Plymouth. Our pace car. Thanks from Rawlings Chrysler and Plymouth for supplying us with the cars this year. So there you have it, our lineup for the Wing Super Modifieds. Wings over Tucson, a 20-lap main event for these guys. And what an event it will be, along with the USAC Midget main event coming up right after this one, and then the mini stocks main event. So hang around, folks. Head on over to the beer well when you get a chance, or over to the snack bar. Got plenty of goodies left for you tonight. Even got candy back there.
And that was not the case. They wound up losing that one by the 1 point, 15-14. But what a class guy Fome and his bunch of assistants are. Had the opportunity to sit in a recording session with them last night, putting together a little something for the Tucson Racket Club. And what a neat bunch of guys. May not be an instant or overnight success here, but looks to be the type that given a year or two, and they've been very complimentary of Larry Smith's effort here, their predecessor. So maybe there's something down there to work with after all, even with Craig Bergman taking a hike this past week because he didn't want to play backup. Well, with what goes on in our professional leagues, you can't really blame the young ones for getting the warped minds early on with regard to what they probably can and cannot get away with in the way of demands. It's a one-armed driver.
Looks that way.
That pace. Is that Manus?
I believe it is.
Dancing Dave in the pace car machine, bringing them around. Billy Hicks and Donnie Sink, Tom Dingus, Don Regals, Ron Gary, J.D. Vance, David Ball, Carl Guerin Jr., John Vesey and Rick Hummer, Troy Brown and Tommy Sines, Wes Morey and Steve Wagner. Camp George tells Dave to get the hay out of here. He does, and here they come with Billy Hicks in 92 flashing her off of the pole, and Donnie Sink giving it the greatest chase right here into lap one. We've got one going high up there between 1 and 2, but so far everything's cool and under control, and we're still racing in the green, our favorite way. Look at this right at the top. Donnie Sink and Billy Hicks going after one another, side-by-side fashion, a goodly portion of the way as 37 goes up in smoke, and the guy next to him takes a slippery ride into the infield lip, and he's going to have some damage on that machine, and also producing our first yellow of the main event here for the winged super modified machines.
Something is definitely wrong with the engine of car number 37, Don Regals, as Don stays out on the racetrack, but he's smoking up a storm.
John Vesey probably taking some damage to the underside of that machine. It looked to be a fairly rough ride, but as Gary's towing pushes him back out, looks to be he's got his own power in that machine, so he'll be right back into the thick of this one as we go to single file now, Jack.
Looks like Donnie Sink's going to be out in front and leading them on around as the officials try to change him around just a little bit. Let's see if we got a complete lap out of that one. Evidently, we did get a good complete lap, so we will do them in single file, as you said, Tom, with Donnie Sink and car number 5T going to be the leader right now, with Billy Hicks following Sink.
And the green flag ready to be flown, and that's exactly what George Camp does. And Donnie Sink will take the early restart lead in this one, with Tom Dingus taking over third position right behind Billy Hicks. Your one-time leader in this one as we eyeball lap number 2. Still no change at the top. Sink, Hicks, followed by Dingus and Ron Gary in 14, if he can stave off J.D. Vance as they roll into turn 1. He can't. Vance takes over 4th. The Flying Fireman in 5th place behind the top trio of Sink, Hicks, and Dingus. 1, 2, 3 as they come out of 3 through 4 and parade by the home stretch of the grandstands. Hicks trying to close up on Donnie Sink. Sink looks to be clicking along, though, in real good shape. J.D. Vance now makes a move out of turn 2 in that 33 machine and into 3rd place all by himself. Out of 3, into 4. Here they come once again. Donnie Sink of Tucson in your lead. Phoenician Billy Hicks giving chase. And then J.D. Vance running awfully close now behind Hicks. He has moved up very steadily especially, though, in the restart of this one as we go to yellow with a machine down just outside of the turn 3 area. Doesn't look to be any great damage to man or machine back there. So perhaps it'll be a brief yellow. It will bunch him up. Troy Brown, we'll see if he gets power back in that 24 machine, and he does. So he'll get back into the fray of this one, but they're bunched up now. Single file again as soon as they get regrouped. Tucson and Donnie Sink will continue in the lead. Panish and Billy Hicks will try to close up. The camp George gives him the finger, indicating one more lap. He's given those 4 you see heading into 3 right now the opportunity to get her tucked up. Sink, Hicks, Vance, Dingus, and Gary. Your top handful in this one, followed by Carl Guerin Jr., rounding out your top 6-pack of your 20-lap main event for Super Winged Modifieds. And the green flag is in starter George Camp's hand, Jack. I think we're going to go.
Looks that way, Tom. Yep, he does wave it as Don Sink leads him down the front straightaway.
Ron Gary has never shown any form of bashfulness so far here in 1987. He's in 4th place. Looked like he might just shoot past J.D. Vance and into 3rd down the back chute. Vance has got a little bit of a handling problem in turn 3. But Gary fails to cash in on it, at least on this go-round. So it'll continue to be Donnie Sink in 5T up front. He lost a little ground there, though, taking it slower than what might have been expected into turn 2, and Billy Hicks was able to close up some of it on him. The lead cars right now taken into lap number 6. It's a 20-lap main event. 6 laps are what we're working on right here with Rick Hummer closing up on that 17A Red Racing machine. Running along right now in 9th place in this one. 9 places back as they come around. Donnie Sink is into lap 7, followed by Hicks and Gary and J.D. Vance in that order. Dingus rounds out your top 5 in this one. Dingus also the lead car right now in a 3-way battle for 5th place in this one. J.D. a little aggressive going into turn 3 and almost overpowered and bumped his way into Ron Gary, but he was able to at the last second stave that off from happening. So they continue to make the circuitous route here, but they're giving chase to Tucson and Donnie Sink. What a 5T.
What a superb move by Donnie Sink as he moved into lower traffic or more traffic over at turn number 2. He just slid in underneath him, and so did Billy Hicks right behind Sink. That could have been disastrous.
Sink and Hicks with that slower traffic right there in front of them as they exit turn 2 and into the back chute. And sure enough, the slower traffic momentarily was able to help separate positions 1 and 2, but it was ever so brief. Donnie Sink continues on in the lead at the halfway point. We have reached midway, 10 laps in, 10 to go. Donnie Sink in 5T continues in the lead. Billy Hicks and J.D. Vance are running 2 and 3 right now. Ron Gary trying to close up running number 4. But he's a little bit of a gap between the top 3 and he is now being chased by David Ball in the 32 wing. Tommy Signs there in 4T. Dingus in 21. Here come the lead machines. Donnie Sink, Vance now trying to work away on Billy Hicks on the outside, and he gets the job done coming out of turn 1. And by turn 2, he's got himself solidly in 2nd place. J.D. Vance, he's been looking good in this one, making his way up through the pack, but Donnie Sink has had it all his way so far in this one. Sink still with the lower inside track, and look at that black ice beginning to develop, but real good out there. Vance going high out of turn 2, trying to close off Sink, unable to do so. Billy Hicks continues the chase. He's in 3rd place. Here they come, your lead cars out of 4 down the home stretch here. J.D. on the outside, still not able to get the job done on Donnie Sink. Donnie continues to command in this one, but it's going to be tight coming out of turn 2. J.D. slows down, though. The higher he got, the slower he also got, and Billy Hicks and Ron Gary continue to run 3rd and 4th in this one. What an exciting finish we're going to have in this one if it holds up this way. Billy Hicks taking it low and inside, but able to stay out of trouble down there in turn number 1. Donnie Sink J.D. Vance, 1-2, in 3, and coming into 4 with a lot of yellow flying out there. They're able to get by the downed machine or machines up there in turn 4, but we're under yellow once again.
15 laps down in this one. We've got 5 more to go once we get underway once again. We've got a couple of them down. Looks like, what is that, 57, Tom? Yes, it is.
Wes Morey in 57 with a problem.
Looks like Tommy Signs in 4T also over there with Wes.
And he's got a heavy problem with that front right. So it looks like a hook for him for sure.
He broadsided him over there, so he's going to get the hook on him, and I don't believe he's going to be back into this one tonight.
Not so much of a problem for Wes Morey, or so it would look, but things are not always as they appear, so we'll continue to watch. Donnie Sink looking awfully strong in this one so far, but I'll tell you what, 33 has been doing some slashing up through the pack, and I don't know that I'd want to designate just who's going to do what here.
A little too soon to predict this one. Billy Hicks is still in there, though, in the car number 92. Hanging tight on third, Ron Gary right behind Billy Hicks. But it's between Sink and Vance right now. So once we get the green flag, it'll be a 5-lap dash to the checkered flag.
All to be followed by 2 more mains plus a Manus.
2 more mains and a Manus.
2 more mains and a Manus. Dave Manus goes one-on-one with tonight's winners right after tonight's racing has concluded. And then we'll open up the gates to Victory Lane and the pit fields, and we invite you to stay with us on this fall evening here in 1987.
Mr. Manus was going to race tonight. He was out here last night in his midget hot lapping.
I thought he was.
And had some engine problems, and they took the car back to California.
Son of a gun.
Yep. He looked good out there, too. Brand new engines. Got warmed up, lost oil pressure, and they think they blew the timing belt or something to that effect. But he'll be back out here yet this year.
I've always said, until you've blown your timing belt,
you haven't blown anything.
You have not lived. Paul Montgomery of Cactus Boot and Shoe Repair has given us some more free heel repair certificates tonight. If you're in attendance and you got some pretty ratty-looking boots or shoes on and feel like you might be more becoming if you find yourself becoming to Cactus Boot and Shoe Repair, well, then mosey on up to the announce tower in between main events here that we've got remaining this evening, and we'll get you a Paul Montgomery Cactus Boot and Western Wear Shoe Repair certificate good for a free heel job. Paul showed me his back room this week. God, was I impressed. I had no idea. It looked like the cockpit of a 747. Here we go. Green again. Donnie Sink in the lead. Can he continue to dominate, or will 33 J.D. Vance or 92 Billy Hicks squeeze him off? I wouldn't count the flying fireman Ron Gary out of it just yet either in number 14. Your top 4. Vance making life uncomfortable for Donnie Sink out of turn 3. They bump and nudge up there in turn 4. And Sink runs away from that situation. But I'll tell you what, when you're talking open wheel, they can go ever so quick. So keep a close eye on those lead 2, if not the lead 4, with Rick Hummer in 17A now rounding out your top 5. So Rick's brought her a long, long way. Donnie Sink has come a long, long way. And he continues on in the lead in the Lenny's Texaco and Brassfield Winged Super Modified. Billy Hicks now back in second place, just ahead of J.D. Vance. As they battle into the wee hours of this one, the white flag is scooped up off the flagman starter's stage floor by George Camp. So Donnie Sink is within a heartbeat and an eyelash of the white flag, but he's also got within a heartbeat and an eyelash behind him one Billy Hicks. J.D. Vance and Ron Gary do a 2-car battle for third place behind the lead machine of Donnie Sink. Can Sink hang on, or will Billy Hicks find an inside surge that will carry him to the checkered flag? It's going to be Donnie Sink with Billy Hicks, J.D. Vance, Ron Gary, and Rick Hummer, your top 5 in this one.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, that was some exciting racing with Don Sink winning it. Billy Hicks Almost had Sink right at the finish line. J.D. Vance was up front there, putting the challenge on Sink most of the last part of the race, but Don Sink held on. Let's give him a good hand, folks. Car number 5, Don Sink, wins the main event here at Raven Raceway. Good job, Donnie Sink. A heck of a nice fella with a really good disposition and a real good sportsman and a good driver, as you can see. Well, Dave Burns slows him up a little bit.
Wouldn't surprise me. It's a 20-lapper, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring him around and kick him off and running USAC Midget main event time at Raven Raceway. And look at Cactus Jack Yaley take the lead into turn 1 with a 3-car tagging, bumping chase into that turn. And all 4 of them come out of it unscathed. And boy, look at these guys fly around here, Jack.
Boy, they can really pour it on as they head out of turn number 4. A couple of them side by side. 3 of them side by side down the front straightaway. Yaley pulls away from the rest of the pack just a little bit, but he's got plenty of company heading toward his way.
It's a lot of close company, too. A lot of open wheels out there in very close proximity to one another. We get our first limping off to the pit field there.
John Zebra, driving that Billy Schumann car number 48, into the pits right now.
So Zerby is out of here, and Cactus Jack Yaley is trying to get out of here with a win. He's looking real good up front right now.
What did I call him? Zebra? It's meant Zerby. You're right. Uh-oh.
Crunch, crunch, up in 4. That produces yellow, and everybody gets by who had a chance at becoming involved in that fracas up there. So we've got a couple of them down.
Okay, let's put a lineup together.
Pilot coming out of this one up in turn 4, so he's already got an indication inside the cockpit of that thing that there's no hope of this time out. There'll always be another time. Good-looking crowd up on Stomper or Smiley Hill, whichever you prefer tonight. Kind of a laid-back partying bunch up there tonight.
That it is.
Good-looking crowd.
You can be sure they'll have their tailgate parties, though, after tonight's racing.
I think so, Judy. Red one over there. Judy, give me your lineup.
What's the number on the red one? Thinking that that's Steve Sussex with his back to us under the performance engine and machine billboard up there. And if that's the case, then we've got Sussex and Zerby as our early drops in this one.
I do not see Sussex out on the racetrack, Tom. I just put the glasses on the rest of them, so evidently that must be him over there. He's got a very hard number to read from a distance. So I would say that's Sussex. Zerby driving the Billy Schumann car in the pits tonight out of this one. Let's see if Zerby will be back out here. If maybe he has some quick repairs he could do under the yellow flag. He can come back out, not under the green flag, though. Looks like Dave Culp's car, doesn't it?
Yep, sure enough. The 90 machine. He's the one who knew right away that there was nothing left in it for this one. He no more than had come to a stop in that machine in turn 4, then he pulled himself up and grabbed a hold of the roll cage and whipped himself out of it.
Looks like they might have some fuel out on the racetrack over there in turn number 4. I heard the officials calling for a shovel to cover something over. Evidently it must be fuel. That's what they usually do in that case. Fire crew over there, maybe they'll burn it off first. And
Needed a shovel up there, huh?
Yeah.
Thought maybe Chico, our track mascot, had come back.
You remember that dog?
Well, absolutely.
Whew. A mean-looking dog.
I thought he was rather gorgeous. Kind of looked like a distant cousin of Spuds McKenzie.
Yes, he did. I think he's around here someplace. They just don't bring him over to the race area. No dogs allowed in the pits anymore, by the way.
I'll have to keep my beach out of there.
Oh, by the way, speaking of beaches.
You're heading off to one, huh?
That and that fella from the bump stairs says he's got one dog left for you. You know what he's talking about?
I'm afraid I do.
Yes.
St. Bernard he's trying to peddle on me.
And he said that you were itching. You just might take it.
I would really. Oh, God, would I love to. However.
Yes.
I've got a little half coyote at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a couple of dogs, too. And one barracuda.
I don't have any dogs at home this time. I've been out with a few dogs.
I'll have to give the old Cuda a call here in a little while and see what she's doing. Taking a nap or reading a book tonight? Who knows? Who knows? So 3 of them written off to attrition in this one. Zerbe, Culp, and Sussex.
2 laps down, 18 to go in this 20-lap main event for the USAC Midgets.